And so much of the art of trust building is getting out of your own way. Because often what we do is we do things like free consulting, over-educating, we get too much information out, and we give so much of ourselves out, and it turns out that the potential client doesn't really want more information. What they want to know is, are you the one to work with them or not? And so I enjoy helping people get ahas, helping people see what's possible. And only one session is all they need to really understand how their own conditioning is their own roadblock. And as long as they're open-minded and willing to shift their mindset and upgrade their sales skills to a whole new level based on trust, they'll always be successful. I grew up in San Diego, California. I spent my whole life there until 20 years ago when I moved to Australia. But I grew up with one sister. My mother is from South America, from Peru. She was a court interpreter, Spanish to English, and my father was a psychologist. So small family in San Diego, went to University of UCLA and spent most of my life there until I made the change to move to Australia. Well, I met my wife online on a dating site 20 years ago. She's from Sydney. Her name is Michelle, was working in Los Angeles at the time. We met on a dating site pre-swiping 20 years ago. We got engaged in Australia and married there, and we had our first son, Toby. And after a day after he was born, the doctors told us that he had Down syndrome. And at first, we didn't know what that meant to our lives. Then we realized we had a gift on our hands. And if you know somebody who has Down syndrome, you know how beautiful they are. They're transparent, they're honest, they connect with people. And the way he is influenced me so much in terms of how to treat people and connect with people. And I took his way of thinking and embedded that into my sales approach called Unlock the Game. So he's very much the role model for us for how to be authentic in our lives and how to build trust with people very quickly. Well, there's a story behind how I fell into this business. 20 years ago, I was a sales manager at a software company, and we launched the first online website tracking tools. And my job was to bring the large accounts in. And I once got an inbound call, and it was a big opportunity, and the contact and I agreed to a conference call. The day finally came, and if I close this one sale, it will double the revenue of the business in one transaction. That's how big it was. So the day finally came, Friday, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I was in my conference room with my CEO, a closed door behind me, and on the conference table was a big speakerphone, the old school ones with 3 legs on it, corporate ones. And I hit the speakerphone, I dialed the number of my contact. He picks the phone up, he says hello, and he says to me, Ari, thanks for coming in line with us today. And he says to me, let us tell you who's in the line with us today. I said, great. Next thing I hear is, my name is Mike, I'm CEO. I was like, oh, that's good. My name is Julie, I'm head of marketing. My name is Chris, I'm head of global IT. This is going to happen. It's going to happen today. So I introduced myself, explained what we did, I had them all log into a webinar and started walking them through our services. As I was showing this to them, I started getting noise on the phone call like, wow, this is great. This is amazing. We love it. How can we use it? They started asking me all kinds of questions. How does it work? How do we install it? And of course, I had all the answers. I mean, I was trained in the product. There was so much chemistry on this phone call. It was like a love fest on the phone. I mean, this could not have been the perfect sales call. An hour goes by. They were loving the product, and the call comes to a close, and my contact says to me, Ari, this is great. We love it. Look, give us a call a couple of weeks, follow up with us, and we'll move this thing forward. So I was like, oh, what a perfect ending to a sales call. So I took my hand, reached for the speakerphone, hit the off button, but by complete accident, I hit the mute button, and a small click happened, and they thought I hung up the phone. In that split second, a voice inside of me said, Ari, go to the dark side. Be a fly on the wall. Listen in. You have nothing to lose. So I pulled my thumb back for a couple of seconds. They started talking amongst themselves, thinking I had left the call. So you would think they'd say good things like, I was hoping to hear things like, hey, sounds great. Let's move this thing forward. Let's hire this guy. Let's hire the services. What they said was the complete opposite. They said, we're not going to go with him. Keep using him for more information. And make sure we shop someplace else cheaper. Knife in heart twist. I was in a state of shock. I could not believe it. I snapped out of it, hit the off button, looked at the wall and said to myself, what did I do wrong? At that moment, I asked myself, why were they afraid to tell me the truth? why all the games? Why tell me things that aren't true? And that's when I realized it was time for me to find my own path to help other people who are in that situation, to change the game, what I call unlock the game, and help people feel comfortable building what I call moments of vulnerability, so both parties feel comfortable telling each other the truth, so no one has to get stuck in a dysfunctional situation where they're chasing people and degrading their authority. And that became the whole premise behind our whole unlock the game philosophy and what we do to help people never get stuck chasing people again. The One Call Sale book is the pinnacle of our work after 20 years. It's the best of our trust-based selling process. And what this does is it allows people to reduce and compress their sales cycle from multiple steps into one single conversation. See, most people are used to having an initial meeting, then a second meeting, a relationship meeting, a qualifying call, lots of meetings. That's the standard way of doing business. That comes from the old conditioning of know, like, and trust. They have to get to know and like you first before they can trust you. And the reality is, in many cases, they don't even have to like you as long as they trust you. The One Call Sale is the most efficient, most authentic, most elegant way to build trust with somebody in a sales conversation in one call with them. And so if you're watching this right now and you're in a business that has multiple steps to a sales process and you're losing people between each of those steps, then the One Call Sale is what you've been looking for a long time. I hope that my legacy will be to influence thousands of people around the world, to be able to learn how to connect with people at a deep level, where they feel this connection to them, and the other person says to themselves, he or she is just right for me. And when you know how to create that feeling with people, what I call a moment of vulnerability, where they really feel that you care about them, then you'll never have to worry again about making sales painful or challenging ever again, because it'll be natural and easy for you and them to connect and for them to onboard with you without any kind of pushing, closing, or chasing.